All right, if you've made it to the conclusion paragraph, then you are so close to being done with your essay. So let's take a look real quick at what this should look like. Now, we talked about the introduction paragraph as an inverse triangle. It goes from a general idea to specific. So you have the hook to get the reader interested. You have your narrowing transition, right? How does the hook connect to your topics, to the topic of your essay? And then you have that final sentence, which is your thesis statement. Your conclusion paragraph, on the other hand, is the opposite. So it's a regular triangle. So it goes from very specific to general. So you have to review in a new, unique way the main points of your body paragraph and why your freedom is the most essential. So, again, the main points of your body paragraph not only include your argument, but also include the counter argument and why that's wrong. You then have to expand your transition. So, you have to connect the freedom to the larger world, and you need to reuse the language of the hook. This kind of needs to function like a sandwich. You've got the bread on the top with the introduction paragraph, you've got all of the meat with your body paragraphs in the middle, and then you've got the bread at the end. So, by reusing the language of the hook, you are drawing the reader back slightly to the attention of where you started this essay. And then you get to your so what statement. Why should I care about this freedom? What is so important about it? Why is this necessary and worth fighting for? So, this is kind of the final moment where you get to show your reader exactly why they should care and inspire them and leave them something to think about after reading the essay. Now, your goal is, because I read about 130, 140 of these, yours is to make your conclusion paragraph so memorable and so impactful that I remember it after I've forgotten everybody else's. So let's take a look at an example. Um, So I'm really quickly going to read you the introduction paragraph so I can show you how the conclusion paragraph reworks it. Okay. So this is the introduction paragraph for an essay that tries to prove freedom of religion is the most essential. So notice the hook, right? Blood colored the desert sand of the Holy Land. Men, women, and children faced a treacherous sea voyage with a 50% chance of survival. Glass shattered and glittered the streets of Germany. People were executed for possessing a Bible. Each of these sentences describes pivotal moments in world history that shaped society because freedom of religion was inhibited, from the Crusades to Kristallnacht during World War II. So that's all of my hook. This is my narrowing transition. In the 20th century, Franklin Delano Roosevelt spoke to Congress about the freedoms essential to a civilized society and explained how a government ought to protect each: freedom of speech, freedom from fear, freedom from want, and freedom of religion. Though each have been weighed in Roosevelt's opinion as equal, many would argue that some are more important than others. So that's my narrowing transition. How does my hook connect to my overall point? And then I have my thesis statement. While some may argue that freedom from want is the most important to a civilized society, it is the freedom of religion that is most essential. So look at how this is reworked in the conclusion paragraph, which is much shorter. So remember, I first have to restate, as it says over here, have to restate the main points of my essay. Though freedom from want is necessary to a civilized society, freedom of religion is far more important. So I literally have rewritten my thesis statement in a new way. Yes, I'm giving now in this sentence, I'm giving some support to the freedom of from want, right? Yes, society needs the basic needs of food, water, shelter, as well as life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But I'm restating my main points for why freedom of religion is the most important. But though the government can try and provide those things, what happens when life is still hard? What happens when a person has everything they could ever want, but still finds their soul dissatisfied and empty? If they cannot practice their faith, whatever it may be, then being able to truly live, to truly be free, and truly be happy is impossible. So notice that I am reviewing my main points, but I'm asking questions. So it gets the reader involved in thinking about really how freedom of religion applies, right? When everything else is stripped away, what do people have? They only have their faith. Now, I'm reusing the language of the hook and kind of trying to draw attention back to the introduction paragraph, right? People have moved continents, immigrated across oceans, fought and died for their faith for centuries, period. Can be as simple as that. And now's my so what statement. It is a freedom still worth fighting and dying for. And it's because I've so well proven all of these reasons that I can have a very simple so what statement here, right? This is the most essential to the human soul. So again, use this outline that I've provided, right? That goes through all this stuff. and make it meaningful, make it impactful after you've gone through and reviewed your points in a new and unique way, right? You don't want me yawning because you are just plodding along and going through your main stuff all again. Okay? Do it in a unique way to make me really, really think about your point and why it's correct.